very good morning to all of you, and it's indeed my pleasure to be among such a lovely audience this morning. And a great opening remark. Thank you, Vinitji. Where is it? So really set the context for this conversation. So while I do take care of the MeitY Ministry of Electronics and IT startup mission, startup program, I also wear another hat as the Director of Digital India Corporation, which is also another reason we could probably be here and share my views and share my thoughts. So before that, I'd really take the opportunity to wish Veloxx Media. I think I've seen them grow from strength to strength. I think with every initiative that they are taking, they are really setting the standards really high for themselves and delivering on that. So congratulations to the Veloxx team and putting together this much, relevant program in the cyberspace. For those, how many of you are familiar with the Digital India program? How many of you are familiar with MeitY Startup Hub? Okay. So the Digital India program or Digital India Corporation is an organization that's responsible for most of the digital public infrastructure. Of course, Aadhaar is a separate entity, UIDAI is a separate entity under MeitY, and but Digital India program has organizations like National E-Governance, Bhashini, which is the language program, and India AI Mission, India Semiconductor Mission, and MeitY Startup Program. So all these programs come under the Digital India Corporation, and of course, MyGov, which is again a platform for citizens to access the government services and program. So that's a brief about Digital India. And MeitY Startup Hub, which is my primary responsibility, is an organization that started about 3 years back, 2.5, 3 years back, with the focus on ensuring that we have a very concentrated effort in building electronics design and manufacturing, as well as a deep tech startup ecosystem in the country. So today, if you look at the startup ecosystem, about 17 ministries are working in various capacities, various programs in the startup space. But the Startup India is a kind of custodian of all the startups in the country, and MeitY Startup Hub takes care of the deep tech and electronics manufacturing startups in the country. Approximately about 30 to 35,000 startups in the country is our responsibility today. So given that, what do we really do? I'll just spend about a couple of minutes what we do, so that I kind of share what we are and you are able to relate to what we are doing. So we are basically an enablers of ecosystem. We work with almost 100 plus accelerators and incubators in the country to ensure that startups get primarily support in 3 key areas, especially as I keep mentioning, the tech and deep tech startups. What do we really provide? We provide technical mentorship, because it's very important to have a good mentor. I always say the first 1,000 days is very important for the startup. It's a make or break 1,000 days, because 3 years, if you can't figure out what you really want to do and crack what you really want to go to the market with, it's a very good. So it's very important to provide a very strong technical mentorship support for the startup. So that's our primary area of support. Followed by market access, which is, again, finding the right customers for our startups, because I always believe customer is your best investor. No matter how many times you run after an investor, they will not put a dime in your startup if you don't have the customer traction. So building a business is fundamentally very important. So we are currently running India's largest POC to purchase order program, which is enabling large corporates, startups, and government institutions to collaborate, where we fund the POC. About 400 POCs are to be funded in the next 3 years, about 120 of them in this year alone, and we fund them up to 40 lakhs, so that we have actually capability to convert purchase POCs into purchase orders for my startups. So that's a very large initiative that we are really looking for. That's the market access program. We run a lot of corporate activities, corporate innovation programs. Those corporates in the room, I mean, I would urge you all to kind of look at how we can provide, collaborate and co-create with the startup ecosystem to ensure that we have a very strong innovation ecosystem being built. So that's something that we build not just at a domestic level, but also at an international level. The third thing we do is money, which is the first M is mentorship, the second M is market access, the third M, easy to remember, is money. We provide a significant amount of funding in the startup space to support the early, right from idea stage to growth stage. We don't, up to pre-series A or series A is where we work with the startups, we fund. So, average ticket size is about 50 lakhs. And goes up to 1 crore if it's a deep tech startup. So we provide, but it may not be a big money, but when a government or Digital India Corporation sits on your cap table, then the startup's credibility and this impact of them getting value in the marketplace really increases. So and we also kind of ensure that we give them all the support that is required to kind of grow and deliver. So in a nutshell, that's what MeitY Startup Hub does. And apart from this, we build a global, we build global startup bridge programs. We work with a lot of corporates, large corporates, and working with in the corporate innovation program to enable market access for our startups. So that's something that I wanted to share, so that it's kind of good to know, for you all to know what MeitY Startup Hub does. And you can always feel free to reach out to me and connect and participate and collaborate and co-create. As startups, you are our primary stakeholders. As corporates, you would be our partners in this journey. And if you are any PSU stakeholders or manager leaders in this room, it will be great to collaborate with you. We're just launching one of the largest program with UIDAI on identity tech program, which is make India, like the way UP has changed the fintech ecosystem. We are launching identity tech as a digital public and next big digital public infrastructure, which will change the identity tech ecosystem, not just in the country, but across the world, because anybody who has a face, can be authenticated through his or her face authentication capability, and anybody who has needs an identity, and it is a huge market opportunity for young startups to kind of collaborate and bring. We are also launching a very large program with BSNL in the telecom sector, which so we participate with PSUs to build the whole innovation ecosystem. So that's in a nutshell what MeitY Startup Hub does. Coming to the conversation of the day, it's very important. I'm sure you all know what MeitY does in the cybersecurity space. We are the custodian. I said 3 missions we have: India AI mission, India Semiconductor Mission, and India Cybersecurity Program. All are primarily driven by MeitY, and both at the policy level and also at an execution and the innovation level that we drive it. So just, sorry about that. So just to give you a perspective, last year alone, India faced about 369 million, 2024 data, we faced about 369 million cybersecurity threats or attacks. So that's a large amount of, attack are coming our way. So obviously, our war room in MeitY tracks every single threat that comes into the country. Obviously it was heightened during the Operation Sindoor. So the Operation Sindoor was not just restricted to the border, but it was websites, government websites, institutional websites. I'll give you an interesting data point. Almost 21.8% of this attack were targeted on our healthcare systems. right? It's not something that you would be expecting them to target our government portals, or you'd be expecting to target our infrastructure, or you'd be expecting them to target our strategic assets. But interestingly, about 21%, or even BFSI fintech capabilities. But interestingly, 21.8% of this program, these attacks were targeted at our healthcare data related aspects. So there's a large, broad-based threat that is lurking around, which we need to really address. And for me, it is at three levels: what I call the strategic national layer, and then there is the institutional layer, and then there is an individual layer. So at all three levels, we have to kind of tackle this. Of course, the government as an agency will tackle it at the the first level of defense in terms of the strategic national layer or even institutional layer. But even individuals, we can are kind of extremely vulnerable. The moment you have a smartphone, you are vulnerable to the entire cyber threat that you have. So clearly, there is a huge need for the what I call three A's, which is awareness of cyber threats, where it comes from, how it can come, and not just from across the borders or from foreign attacks, but very much domestic players are also are now threatening, and largely in the financial fraud and all the thing that we've been talking about, the digital arrest and all of that we have been. So there is a huge need for this. So the awareness is extremely critical. So we at MeitY, we are taking a very significant steps to increase the awareness, and at a policy level, you all are familiar with the DPDP Act. So how many are familiar with the Digital Personal Data Protection Act? Have you been able to go through it? Yeah, fantastic. So it's extremely important for you to. It's also open for it should be open for consultation. So please share your feedback. It's a continuous improvement program. So if you have any views, do share. So with the DPDP Act, with the 14C, which is the Cybersecurity center by the Home Ministry, Cybercrime Center for the Home Ministry, and multiple other initiatives. Of course, you all know CERT. CERT is putting up a lot of efforts in the space. So through multiple initiatives, the awareness layer is being really pushed for, and followed by the policy support which it really needs. But it's equally important for the corporates and more important for now the startups. I was very happy to see the number of startups that are working. We have out of the 32,000, close to about 3,000 startups are in the cybersecurity space. So we are extremely proud that our young entrepreneurs and young innovators are focusing on cybersecurity as a very important area. So our constant support is there at all layers, especially in the individual layer, where there is a need for a lot of innovation. There is a need for a lot of affordable solutions in cybersecurity. It's not just about the third. First is awareness, second is accessibility, and third is affordability. Because as an individual, what I can afford to protect myself. Yesterday I met a very interesting startup who has come up with cybercrime or cyber threat insurance. So for 199 or 300 rupees or 400 rupees a month, he's providing you an insurance on cyber threats. If you lose money online or in terms of any cyber fraud, so they are willing to now cover this insurance. There's a startup in one of my portfolios, and that interestingly, sir, Mr. Vinit spoke about Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. So I'll talk about also that startup is from Prayagraj. Right, so we have some amazing startups doing some very interesting work and really driving this whole ecosystem. And at MeitY Startup Hub, as Sir mentioned, Tier 2, Tier 3 cities has been our focus. So over 65 centers, and none of them are IITs, and none of them are or large institutions. We are focusing on a Genesis program with a total outlay of about 490 crores only for startups from idea stage to growth growth stage, only for Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, and women in deep tech. Which is very, very important for us also, because inclusive tech is very important, and assistive tech, and to my mind, I'm today, while we have already spoken about assistive tech largely as a tech for specially able people or tech for geriatric care, but I think even cybersecurity is also very important. We need to widen the definition of assistive tech. If it protects you from a cyber threat, it should be an assistive tech, right? So it needs to kind of broad base that as well. So there's a lot of interesting work happening at MeitY Startup Hub, at MeitY, at a policy level, at an execution level, at a support level. And if you notice, I haven't used the word AI so far in my speech, which is a crime by any standards, right? But obviously we cannot ignore that. AI. I'm not going to preach to the choir. You all know better than me in terms of how the whole positive and the not so positive side of AI is shaping, especially the sophistication of and the nature of the cyber attacks that is coming is kind of getting enhanced day by day through AI. So we also have brought in the policy around the deep fake, the AI synthetic content generation aspect. So every possible way, MeitY and MeitY Startup Hub or Digital India is trying to stay ahead of the curve. But definitely we need your participation. We need to collaborate and co-create to make this a real success in the quest for cyber safety and protecting our national assets, our citizens, and definitely the hard-earned wealth and pride of the country. So with that, I once again take the opportunity to thank the organizers. Really appreciate for having me here, and thank you for this all opportunity, and wishing you all the very best. Yes, sir.
A very good morning to you, first of all.
Very good morning,
sir. You talk about the AI, you talk about the cyber attacks, so many, it's growing. And the recent report is there, 23,500 crore, the cyber frauds, financial losses. In the Lok Sabha, there was a question, and there is a report of National Cybercrime Portal that says 23,500 crores loss is there. Yeah, 23,000 crores loss, amount of reported loss. Okay. No, yeah, the question is we have to take very seriously. Till now, neither the AI law is there or the cyber crime law is there. You talk about the DPDP Act is there, very good. It's a very good this thing. I think last more than 1 year gone and the DPDP Act was notified. But the question is when the DPDP rule will be there, will be notified, because that is very important. When the rule is not there, what is the use of the act? Policy is there, procedure is not there. So how to store the data security, data sovereignty, data crash, or data, how to use there. You mentioned about the hospitals, the industry, medical industry. Yes, lot of stakeholders are involved, the insurance company, the clinical labs, the hospitals. There are a number of bodies are involved. So who will be liable, responsible, accountable for that? That is very important. Point number 2 is the India FinTech Foundation, IFF. On 29th October 2025, they have mentioned to the government and to the RBI, they have warned 80% of the 2 apps, Google Pay and Phone Pay, they are 2 apps dominates of UPI payments, Google Pay and this Phone Pay. So they are giving warning of increasing concentrations, risk in the country, digital payments systems. So this needs your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think the first part I will just respond to it. I think the DPDP Act is very close to be procedurized. We have been kept it for consultation, because it is, at least I can say, I mean, having studied, I'm sure you're all familiar with the GDP, Global Data Protection. It is a far more enhanced version of that, because it's not a very, so given that and given the nature of complexities that it has, we've kind of taken a lot of stakeholder consultations across, and it is a very thin line between personal data protection and personal data access, or how do we really, so we want to be double sure, and we are working on that, which will be very soon notified. I think that I can assure you. On the other areas, yes, there is a significant amount of effort being put in. Yes, maybe in the next 3-4 months, by April, you will see some very significant announcements coming in the AI space, especially in February 1920 on February 26, we are having the India AI Impact Summit. It's going to be a very global, and you can see some really strong policy announcements around that in the AI space as well. Thank you.